Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. So let's take a brief look around the inspector. Generally speaking, in the inspector, there are going to be two different tables by default and a channel strip area similar to what you'll find in a mixer. So when you first interact with the inspector,
collapse, disclosure triangle.
You may have this first one collapse. So if it's collapsed, you'll see what happens here.
Region.
It says region.
Guitar chorus underscore bit 2. Edit text.
That is the name of the region that is currently selected. So now if you had multiple regions selected, you'll see a number here instead of a name because it'll just show you the number of selected regions. But when you only have one region selected, it just shows you the name of the region that is selected.
Collapse, disclosure triangle.
So you see right from there, it goes to another collapse, disclosure triangle.
Track.
Goes to track. So now the next one is going to be the name of the track.
Dirty Guitars Menace. Edit text.
When I navigated to the track in the track header, it was called Dirty Guitars Menace. So you see that is the name of the selected track.
Mixer layout area.
And then this is a mixer's layout area where you can interact and you'll find a channel strip, and that's one place where you can set your inputs, your outputs, you can solo mute the track, you can add audio effects, etc., etc. Now you can solo mute the track from the track header, but this is also where you can see just the channel strip that is in focus, unlike with the mixer where you see all the channel strips. This one inside the inspector only shows you the channel strip for the track that you have selected. All right, so let's jump back to the top of this window.
Collapse, disclosure triangle.
In here, you're going to see that you can expand these. And when you expand these, there's going to be a table with some settings. So
collapse, disclosure triangle.
If I hit VO space on that collapse, disclosure triangle.
Expanding.
You see it says expanded.
Region.
That says region.
Guitar chorus underscore bit 2. Edit text.
Guitar chorus underscore BIP, which means bounce in place. And that's the region that's selected.
Table, no selection.
But this time there's a table. And when you interact with this table, any settings inside of this table that you adjust are only going to adjust the selected region or selected regions if you have multiple regions selected. So this, the settings inside of this table only apply to whatever region or regions are selected. Now if I continue going again, we're going to see the collapse disclosure triangle again.
Collapse, disclosure triangle.
And this is going to expand the track inspector. So we just looked at the table that houses the region inspector. So now if I expand this,
expanding,
this is going to show the track inspector.
Track.
It says track.
Dirty Guitars Menace. Edit text.
Dirty Guitars Menace, which is the name of the track that we're working with.
Table, no selection.
And now if I interact with this table, any setting I change is going to affect the track as a whole, not just the selected region. And then as I said next to this,
mixer layout area.
If you navigate with your right arrow, it's a mixer layout area. And once again, if you interact with the mixer layout area, you're going to see a channel strip very similar to what you see in the mixer, but you're only going to see a channel strip for the selected track. And once again, that's where you can set your input, outputs, you can add audio effects to the track, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to jump to the top of the window again.
Expanded, disclosure triangle.
So you see I expanded these earlier.
Region.
We have the region.
Guitar chorus underscore bit 2.
Name
Edit text.
Of the selected region.
Table, no selection.
The region inspector. So if you interact with the region inspector, you'll see their settings
in table,
here.
row 1 of 10, mute, level 1.
You can mute the selected region. By the way, there's a key command for this. It's Control M, so you don't have to come in here just to mute a region.
Loop.
You can loop the selected region. This also has a key command. It's just the letter L. So if you have a region selected, you can loop it by just pressing the letter L. And that will allow the region to just loop until you stop playback.
Hyphen.
These are settings that don't apply because this is an audio region and flex time may not be turned on. If flex time were turned on, you'd get some quantization options for this region. And you have to turn flex time on in the track inspector, which is the next table over.
Hyphen. Hyphen. Transpose.
All right, so the next option we have available to us is transpose. So if you want to change the pitch of this track, if you want to transpose the track up or down in half depth increments, once again, this table has two columns. So I'm on the left column right now, which shows the label. If I VO right arrow,
slider,
that puts me in the right column, and that's a slider. Interact with
in
this
slider,
and use VO shift left to right arrows.
Logic Pro 10 busy. +1.
And you see that allows you to transpose a region up. When it says +1,
+2,
that means it is moving in half depth increments.
+1.
When it blank like that, that means it's back to its default. And if I keep going with VO left arrow,
-1.
You see that now it's in the negative, so now it's being transposed down by a half depth,
-2,
down by 2 half depth, etc., etc.
-1,
All right, so put that back at 0.
out of slider,
Now I'm going to go back to the left so I can see the labels.
transpose,
All right, so now I'm going to go down again.
fine tune,
Fine tune, this allows you to fine tune your selected region. So let's say you transpose it, but it's slightly sharp or slightly flat. You can fine tune this by sense here. So where the previous slider, the transpose slider, moves in semitones, this moves in cents. And the way you think about this is 100 cents to make up a semitone.
flex and follow,
All right, this is another flex setting if you have flex time turned on or flex pitch turned on.
gain,
And the gain slider allows you to adjust the gain or the volume, so to speak, of just the selected region. So let's say all the other regions on the track are at the right volume, but this one region is a little quiet. You can come in here and adjust the gain for the selected region, independent of the other regions on the track and independent of the track volume.
more, collapsed,
And this more area is collapsed, and this is where you're going to have some options like fade in, fade out, etc., etc. So interact with
in
this.
group, collapse, disclosure triangle, expanding,
And you can navigate through here.
expanded, disclosure triangle,
Oops, let me stop interacting now that I've expanded it.
out of group,
So now if I keep going down with VO down arrow,
delay, level 2,
you see delay. And now delay is a way for you to delay the start of the region. So normally you can select a region and nudge it forward or nudge it backwards in time. This does the same thing, but it doesn't physically move the region. It just moves the start time off by however many seconds. So if you were to go into the track contents area and select the region, do VO Shift H, it show you that the region still starts at measure 1, beat 1, even though you've like nudged it to start at like measure 1, tick 20 or something like that. All right,
fade in, pop-up button,
we got fade in here, and this is where you can fade in a region. So if I VO right arrow,
slider,
you see the slider, and that allows you to adjust how much you want to fade in the selected region.
fade in, pop-up button,
All right, just went back to the left there, so now I'm going to go down.
curve,
Curve, if I go to the right,
slider,
this allows you to figure out how steep you want that fade-in curve to be. So if you want the fade-in to go from really quiet to really loud in a much steeper curve, you can adjust this here. So this allows you to fine-tune your fade-in, so to speak, after you set the fade-in with the fade-in slider.
curve,
All right, let's go down.
fade out, pop-up button,
Fade out. And same deal, if I use VO right arrow, it'll be a slider again.
slider,
And this allows you to adjust the fade out of the selected region.
fade out, pop-up button,
So I just went VO left back to the pop-up button.
type,
Now type. For fade out, you have a type.
out, pop-up button,
And this allows you to change it from a fade out to a crossfade. And there's a couple different crossfade options. So a VO space here.
menu 4 items check mark, out, X, crossfade,
X is crossfade.
EQP, equal power crossfade,
Equal power crossfade.
XS, S-curve crossfade,
And so you see there are crossfades with a couple different curves there. I generally just use X, so the regular generic crossfade.
XS, S-curve crossfade,
And let me escape.
closing menu, out, pop-up button,
So
type,
I'm going to go back over to type. And now if I go down,
curve,
this is a curve slider, and this adjusts the curve of the crossfade or the fade out, etc., etc., etc.
reverse,
Reverse, this is a checkbox. If I VO right arrow,
uncheck, checkbox,
if you want to reverse a region, have something play back backwards, just come in here after you select the region, hit that checkbox, and you'll reverse your region.
reverse, hyphen,
And this is another option that's not available to us currently, probably because it's an audio region, or possibly because we don't have flex time turned on for the track.
Q range, space, dimmed, Q range, Q strength, dimmed, slider, Q strength,
You see a lot of these options are dimmed out also.
Q strength,
All right, so let me stop interacting with this.
out of table,
We're going to navigate one to the right,
expanded, disclosure triangle,
and you'll see that this is now the track inspector.
track, dirty guitars menace, edit text,
See the track name there.
table, no selection,
And if we interact with this,
in table, row 1 of 6, channel, icon,
you see you can give the track an icon. That's a visual thing, so you probably won't want to worry about that if you're watching this video, most likely.
channel, audio 73, dimmed, pop-up button,
This tells you what audio track, or in the case of MIDI, what MIDI channel is being used. Not really all that relevant in this particular case. It's just, information more relevant to logic than anything you'd really need to know. But this is the 73rd audio track that was added to the project, basically, is all that's really telling you.
Channel. Freeze mode.
Freeze mode, so you can choose if you want to freeze the track. Freezing the track basically takes the track, renders all the effects that you have on the channel strip, and just makes it like a single wave file, so that way the computer can play it back without having to process the track in real time. It's a way to free up some resources. It just replaces the audio on the track, and then when you unfreeze it, it will basically just delete that wave file and reactivate all the effects and go back to processing the audio in real time.
Pre-fader. Pop-up button.
And you can choose where it renders that from, pre-fader, etc., etc.
Freeze mode. Cue reference.
Cue reference.
Dim check. Checkbox. Cue reference.
This is an option that's not available to us, most likely because we probably don't have the right flex option selected for that to be available.
Flex mode. Automatic. Pop-up button.
You see flex is set to automatic. It turned flex on because I adjusted the transpose in the region inspector. That's why you notice when I adjust the transpose, it kind of went busy for a second, because it had to turn flex on for the track and analyze all the regions on the track in order to adjust the pitch. So I'm assuming it probably turned on flex pitch by default and not flex time, and that's probably why that cue button was unchecked before.
Flex mode. Complex.
And then complex, this is a flex pitch algorithm.
Checkbox.
And is checked by default. Complex, I think, is the most recent up-to-date logic pitch algorithm, so you most likely want to use that by default.
Checkbox.
All right, and that is a track inspector. So like I said, everything in this table affects the selected track, and everything in the region inspector table affects the selected region, or all the selected regions if multiple regions are selected. Hope you found that useful. Hope that was helpful. Please feel free to subscribe to both the blog and the YouTube channel. If you have a tip or trick of your own that you'd like to share with the community, or something you'd love to see me cover in a future tutorial, please feel free to leave that in the comment below. And until next time, as always, happy recording.